All right, we are back. Thanks again for joining us. If you're just now tuning in, this is the virtual Oklahoma Community Prosperity Summit. I'm Riley Paget, Chief of Staff for the Office of Partnerships and Public Engagement. Excited to have you join us today in partnership with the Oklahoma Department of Ag, Food and Forestry, and of course USDA in Oklahoma. As mentioned, this is being recorded for future use, and so just want to make you aware that this is being recorded. If you have any questions for any of our presenters, you can insert them in the chat feature, or at the end of the presentation, you can certainly unmute yourself and ask the presenter whatever question you might have. We've got a full day ahead of us, but before we begin with our next set of presenters, I wanted to discuss with you why we're doing a lot of this. And it's because we are recognizing that there were a set of recommendations that came to USDA and other federal partners from the Task Force on Agriculture and Rural Prosperity. It's a White House task force, again, made up of several federal partners, in which Secretary Sonny Perdue here at USDA is chairing. For the remainder of our time together, we'll be featuring speakers who will illustrate the importance of those sets of recommendations, and will speak to each of those buckets. There are 5 buckets of priorities. We're focusing on 4 of them with the understanding that e-connectivity flows into all of these. And so if you'll check out the screen, you'll see those 5 recommendations. Of course, e-connectivity is discussed, economic development, innovation and technology, workforce, and quality of life. We're going to handle these a little out of order, but without further ado, wanted to recognize Secretary of Agriculture for the state of Oklahoma and our presenter on quality of life, Blayne Arthur. Thanks again, Blayne.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Riley, for the introduction. Jan Lee and I were just visiting about how time had certainly gotten away. I think we visited about this in DC in February. We're very excited for the opportunity, and certainly wish circumstances were different, that we might be seeing everyone in person instead of virtually. But I think the great thing that we have seen at all levels of government is everyone has continued to find a way to do their jobs through technology and other resources. So we certainly appreciate the opportunity to partner today with USDA on a topic that's certainly very important to myself, but also to all of our ag producers here in Oklahoma. I listened to the speakers earlier this morning, so do want to give a nod to our partners and also good friends, Dr. Denny there at Rural Development, Director Biggs at FSA, and State Conservationist Gary O'Neill. They're great partners for us here in Oklahoma. Those programs make a huge difference in the way of life of all Oklahomans, and we certainly appreciate from the state perspective the collaboration that we have between the Oklahoma Department of Ag and USDA at all levels. I'll touch briefly on my responsibilities here in Oklahoma. I'm very proud to work for Governor Stitt. Started in this capacity in January of 2019. A portion of my job is serving as a cabinet member, but another portion is working as the director for the Oklahoma Department of Ag, Food and Forestry. And we're primarily a regulatory agency, but we also have a promotion arm. So we kind of at the same time assist producers in finding ways to be successful and promote their products, but we also have a lot of regulatory functions that we perform as well. So it's a great place to work. We have fabulous employees here at the Department of Agriculture, and try to do our best to see that we make successful paths for ag producers, but also for the state of Oklahoma, and also working to move us into top 10 status, which I think ties in well to the topic that I have here this morning on quality of life. Here in Oklahoma, we hear the governor talk a lot about moving us to a top 10 state in a positive way. And the one thing that is nice in the ag world is that we are top 10 in a lot of things in Oklahoma when we talk about production agriculture. And those are commodities that many on the call are very, very familiar with. And we have done a good job producing those commodities for a long time. But we always have greater opportunities to expand what we do. And I loved hearing Director Beatty earlier this morning saying there are acres of diamonds in rural America. And we certainly think there are acres of diamonds in rural Oklahoma. and we grow our best resources in rural Oklahoma, I believe, and that's both on the commodity side, but also on the people side. I know we have a lot of Oklahomans that we're very proud of, yourself included, Riley, who came from what I would consider rural Oklahoma, and we think we really have a way of life and a quality of life in Oklahoma, and specifically in the rural parts of the state, that contribute to successful individuals. And that's why we're so appreciative of these programs, and specifically the rural development programs that help foster that way of life and continue to make sure those opportunities exist. And thank you for advancing the slide real quickly. I wanted to talk about some of the photos that we have here. The one that I really want to start with is down in the right-hand corner. That's down in southwestern Oklahoma. That's in Hobart. And what I think is really important to note is that we have some young adults there participating in wheat harvest. And we were very thankful this year that we got to have wheat harvest. Last year, the rain kind of changed our plans significantly, but we had a very successful wheat harvest in Oklahoma this year. And I think something to note is that you've got several generations of producers in that photo, but you've got young adults who may be the fourth or fifth generation of their family who has been in those fields or fields close to that field, producing the food and fiber that is so essential to all of us in the world. And, you know, that's certainly a quality of life piece that we want to continue to support and foster the opportunities that exist for those young adults. Those individuals are very engaged in production agriculture. They're incredibly knowledgeable about production agriculture. And when we talk about the resiliency that we need in rural Oklahoma, specifically when we talk about quality of life, these young adults, I think, have the skills to bring a more resilient rural economy to life for us. And I know that's not just a Oklahoma issue, but across the U.S. we have seen changes in our rural communities, and I think so many of us love that rural lifestyle and the way of life, and we need to continue to put the pieces together so that we can increase the quality of life that we have there in those communities. And all of these young adults are also members of our 4-H and FFA programs, and I would be remiss if I did not mention those two programs as well, because I think they're a significant piece of the quality of life that we have here in the state. I will proudly say that I think we have the best FFA program and 4-H program in the United States. Riley certainly is someone we're very proud of, serving us at the national level with the FFA program. We've had several national FFA officers from the state of Oklahoma, and our 4-H program, I was very fortunate to spend some time at the 4-H Foundation here in Oklahoma. And again, our 4-H members here in Oklahoma really lead the way nationally in programming and awards that they have received. So those are two kind of strongholds here in the state of Oklahoma, and those young adults can really contribute to this quality of life piece. They work hard, they understand what's important to their community, and I think they will be the ones that help us continue to grow those areas and help us to find some success. And I know when we talk about a big purpose of this discussion is to kind of create, foster hope and opportunity. And if you can't talk to 4-H and FFA students and see hope and opportunity that exists, then I think maybe you haven't visited with enough of those young adults, because I think there are no better leaders that we have and no greater opportunity to continue to support those young adults. And that's really going to make a difference for all of us. Want to talk a little bit about health and wellness. You can see we've got a photo of one of our wonderful farmers market venues. This is more kind of a roadside stand that's just outside of Ada, and I wish that I could share. They have wonderful peach ice cream. I wish that we could hand that out to everyone this morning. But when we talk about health and wellness, especially in our rural communities, making certain that there is access to fresh produce, and making sure that we're just addressing food deserts is certainly very much a priority of us here at the Department of Agriculture. We have a new healthy food financing initiative that will help us to address that both in rural areas and urban areas. But when we talk about the health of our individuals, that's a very, very significant piece of it. We've seen tremendous growth in our farmers market venues. Those are registered with the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, and we continue to find ways to expand that reach and fill in areas of the state where there may not be farmers market venues available. I know something certainly that was unique that we saw during March, April of the COVID-19 situation is a lot of those products that people were accustomed to finding in their grocery store might not have been there. And there was a big push to see lots of local produce for consumers. And they were wanting to say, who is my local producer, if it's of beef or pork, or where can I find produce, those kind of things. There was a big push to make that happen. And so those farmers markets saw tremendous kind of uptick in participation this spring because people were looking for those products, and our farmers markets here did some tremendous things as far as contactless purchasing and delivery of items. And we want to continue to grow and expand the opportunities for those markets, because ultimately when we talk about healthy living and some of the challenges that we have in regards to health outcomes in the rural parts of the state, making sure that they have accessibility to those products on a regular basis is incredibly important. I know that rural development has some pieces that can help us with that, but that's going to be a push that we'll continue to see. Telemedicine is certainly another big piece of that, and I know we've got some of our great friends from Oklahoma State University on the line here with us, and certainly want to give a shout out to my good friend Dr. Casey Schrum at the OSU Center for Health Sciences. Telemedicine is something that she has done a lot of work on historically, and I think we have seen the benefit of that over the past few months as we have had individuals that have used telemedicine to interact with their local physicians. And here in Oklahoma, depending on where you live, that means that you maybe can have access to some expertise and not have to travel several hours. And so we want to continue to push the focus on telemedicine, because there's a lot of people that really enjoy where they live, and that may not be within a few hours of a metro area, but they need to utilize those resources from a health perspective. That's one thing too that I think is important to talk about a little bit is there's lots of individuals who love the rural way of life and love being in production agriculture, but they're the job creation, and I know we're going to talk later on about economic development and workforce development, but that's a huge piece that is so important to all of us as well. When I think about the miles that are put on some vehicles so that folks can get to the job that they need to go to because they enjoy that rural lifestyle, I think that shows the value that that brings. It's certainly a wonderful place to raise your family. I myself am a mom. My husband and I live on a cattle operation in kind of the north central northeast part of the state, and for our two young children, we think there's no better place to raise them than in a rural area. They go to a very small rural school, an opportunity that we think is tremendous for them because of the quality of life pieces of that. And you know, for us, we're very ag centric. So for us, that may be working calves in the evening, or most recently leading lambs at nighttime, which has been a new adventure at our house. But that's the piece of rural America, and certainly the ag piece of rural Oklahoma, that's so important to us, and that we believe creates these wonderful community members. And I think ultimately all of us are wanting to help increase the value in our communities. And I think we do that through our youth and through individuals, and having those opportunities there is very, very important. Another photo we've got there is at the Oklahoma City National Stockyards. And part of quality of life is the infrastructure piece of that. And we move a lot of cattle through the state of Oklahoma, and that means that we need the infrastructure to be a big piece of what we do in the ag world. And I know we've got a great focus here at the state on how to address some of the challenges that we have in the infrastructure side of things. And we move a lot of product from west to east and north to south, and certainly a lot of livestock, all those directions as well. And so the programs that we see, and I know Dr. Denny mentioned several of those earlier this morning, specifically in regards to infrastructure, those are incredibly important to moving those commodities. We've got a lot of people that like to see that food supply remain consistent and show up at their grocery store. And so making sure we have the infrastructure in place to have that food arrive where it needs to be is important. And it's certainly more challenging sometimes in rural areas because you're doing a lot of work for maybe just a few folks that live down that county road or that need access to a certain point. And so there are dollars that have to be expended, but we always want to remember every farm at the end of the road and everybody at the end of the line, and make sure we're putting infrastructure pieces in place for them to be successful. And certainly broadband is a big piece of that as well. And we're incredibly appreciative of Secretary Perdue and his efforts in regard to broadband. And we've had some positive announcements here in Oklahoma, and Dr. Denny has been a huge piece of those as well. So that is a wonderful thing that just makes a difference to the quality of life for our individuals and to the success that they can have. We have a lot of agri-tourism venues here in the state of Oklahoma, and they utilize technology to market their products and to encourage individuals to come to their locations and to hopefully come back to their locations. And so having that infrastructure piece in place is incredibly important to those agritourism venues as well. And I want to touch on agritourism for just a moment, because I think it really shows how important quality of life has become to people. And I'll talk specifically to Oklahoma. There has been a change, I believe, in over time, and several folks know that we're many generations away from the family farm, but that experience of being outside, working potentially around livestock, maybe it's just a horseback riding agritourism venue, that might be a you-pick berry opportunity, but people want that opportunity and that experience for their family. And I think a lot of parents want that opportunity and that experience for their children. They see the value in having the products that you grow and produce showing up on the table, certainly, but also in these young adults seeing what is required for that food to show up on their table. And from our agritourism venues perspective, it's a great opportunity for them to have additional income generation. They probably have a working ag operation and have added agritourism as another venue, another arm of that at their place. And I know my kids are always surprised that somebody would want to come pay to do work because we force them maybe to do chores some evenings when they're not enthusiastic about it. But I think there's no question that the 98% of the world who's not involved in production agriculture sees that quality of life piece that so many of us enjoy. We talk a lot about we don't live in Oklahoma because of the weather. There's no question about that. But we live in Oklahoma because of the opportunities that exist here, and certainly because of the people. And I think we see a lot of that in the rural parts of the state as well, and how important that is to individuals in the rural part of the state. Want to talk just real briefly about just housing. I know that's on your list too, Riley, when we talk about quality of life and giving those opportunities to individuals, and all of those pieces, the education piece, the health piece, housing, infrastructure, all of that ties into the quality of life that we want to have. And certainly I know Secretary Copeland's going to talk about economic development, but that ties in importantly as well. And from the Department of Ag's perspective, when we talk to these businesses about how they can expand, what they want to do, that quality of life is very important for all the individuals that work for them in these specific communities. And I think that is changing as well, what someone wants in regards to quality of life, and we've got to be cognizant of that and what's important to those individuals. I think different generations have different priorities, and we need to look at those and see what those are and see how we can facilitate making those available to everyone, because that's a good thing for ag. We also I want to touch briefly on sustainable communities. We see people changing, people moving to different communities within Oklahoma, but I also think we're seeing an influx of individuals who want their families to have that opportunity that exists in those communities as well. And so this focusing on all the pieces of quality of life and what that means to someone, I think really helps build sustainable communities. And, you know, tying back into our youth programs that are available through the 4-H and FFA programs, I think that is creating educated adults, ultimately from these young people that then want to come back and be part of the community and help build and grow that community, which is beneficial to everyone ultimately. I think that, you know, the final picture that I have there that I haven't spoken on specifically is our beef cattle industry there, where we've got those two mama cows standing out there. And you know, it's a unique thing in Oklahoma where if you look at a map of the United States, that we're one of the states that we've got more cows than we do people some days, and we've got 4 million people in the state of Oklahoma, and we also we've got a lot of cattle as well. But I think that is a great piece, because we are seeing where people can be, and why I'm talking beef industry specifically is the beef industry is so diverse here in the state of Oklahoma, and touches on that quality of life that individuals can find to be successful. We've got a lot of producers who are full-time producers in the beef industry, but we also have a lot of producers here in Oklahoma who have less than 30 head of cattle, and so they may have another job, and they raise cattle kind of more on the side along with whatever their other income is for their family. And I think there's lots of opportunity for individuals who have something as more of a steady full-time income to add ag to a part of their world. We see that in the Agri Tourism venue. We see that some in the livestock and the cattle production side of things. We also see that people just have taken a very strong interest in gardening and producing food, maybe just for their family specifically. OSU Extension is a huge part of encouraging our Master Gardener programs here at the Department of Agriculture. And I know we've got some of our Langston friends on the phone, but we have a wonderful garden that we do outside here in front of the building. In Oklahoma City, we can grow wheat, we can grow cotton, we can grow kind of any vegetables that you want, but that's a big thanks to Langston and their staff for making that happen. So I think we see that merging of the interest in production ag and what that means when we talk about quality of life and how important that is. The final thing that I want to mention, and I apologize if we have sound issues, this is a perfect time when they're mowing outside my window today, so we apologize for that. We want to talk just real briefly. I know I've talked about health a little bit, but we also want to mention mental health. That is an issue in the ag world that we don't talk about a whole lot. Being a farmer, rancher has a lot of value to it, but sometimes that's a lonely operation. You may spend a lot of time on the back of a horse, or you may spend a lot of time by yourself in the cab of a tractor. And certainly with challenges that we have seen in commodity prices over the last few years, and especially during this challenging situation we have had here in 2020, ag mental health has been a very big discussion among all of our producers and all of our commodity groups here in the state of Oklahoma. and we want to make sure that people see resources that are available to them. And we've got a video that was done by the department that will make sure and get information out to if anyone wants to access the ag mental health video that we've done. Now I see that Steve Mosier has asked a question. I love questions because I know I can just ramble on. Steve, we certainly have seen an increase in demand for meat processing here in Oklahoma. We were very excited yesterday here in the state of Oklahoma. We had an announcement with Career Tech. We've got a wonderful Career Tech system here in Oklahoma, and they're offering 3 new curriculums in meat processing. Those are online curriculums that are up and available starting yesterday morning. When we saw a lot of our consumers that went to the grocery store in March or April or even now and were looking for a particular type of protein, they might not have found it. A lot of that is because we had a shift in food going to retail. There was a big demand at retail because a lot of us were not eating out at restaurants because we were staying in the home or sheltering at home. And so restaurants that were not utilizing those products, and it is hard for us to shift that food supply. And so certainly what we have seen out of that, and we've had significant discussion here in the state of Oklahoma, is in regards to processing. We have a lot of large processors. We don't have any significant size beef processing facilities here in the state of Oklahoma currently. There are a lot of folks at all levels having discussions about how we can help foster and support the development of more processing. And the announcement yesterday with Career Tech was specifically to the education piece for the workforce and labor force needed in those. We're also having discussions in regards to government regulations, HACCP plans, where our current facilities are located, where the need might be. I certainly believe there's a lot of opportunity for more small and medium-sized processors to come into the market, and that certainly ties back into our discussion we had earlier about farmers markets and people wanting the opportunity to purchase that local product and to support specifically their local beef producers here in the state of Oklahoma. So I think, Steve, we've had more calls about processing maybe than anything else this spring. And so we're doing everything that we can to assist new facilities that want to come online. We're working to expand the capacity of existing facilities, both state inspected and federally inspected. Some of that has to do with making sure that they have an inspector available to them for the days that they want to run. But you'll continue to see a lot of support from that from the state of Oklahoma, and doing everything that we can to work with our partners at USDA, FSIS to make sure that we're educating all of those individuals at the plants, because we also always want to keep food safety as a priority in anything that we do in the ag world for our consumers. So that discussion will continue. I think there's lots of enthusiasm for folks who want to be able to have a way to market their products directly to consumers, and we want to do everything that we can to facilitate that. So I do want to be cognizant of the time that Riley so kindly provided me to speak with you all. So I think I've got just a couple minutes left, Riley. If there are any other questions that someone has or any other items that we can address, we would certainly love to do that.
As a reminder, you can type those questions in the chat feature or unmute your lines and ask Secretary Arthur directly.
Well, it looks like they're going to be an easy crowd this morning, Riley, but I certainly want to wrap up and say a big thank you to USDA, to yourself, to Director Beatty, and to, which it sounds like he goes by Coach. So if I
pretty often, yes, ma'am.
In person, I will certainly address him that way. But to all the staff at USDA and certainly all of our partners here on the state level, I think that we've had probably more of a unique time to live and work through than any generation can maybe remember right now. And I'm very proud, certainly, of how USDA has handled that and how our folks here at the Department of Agriculture have handled our responsibilities. But I think it all comes back to partnerships and all of us wanting to see success for our producers, but also ultimately for the state and the nation in general. So I know it's a challenging time, but I also think there's lots of opportunity for us all to see some really good things come out of these challenging times. So a big thank you for the opportunity to speak with everyone this morning. Thank you everyone who has been on the line, and will be listening for the rest of the morning session. And so thank you again, and look forward to continuing to work with all of our partners in the future.
Arthur, thanks so much for joining us and for helping us co-host this event. You're right. Seems like forever ago, but also just yesterday that we were talking about this, and an honor to have you here. I can't think of better advocates for ag and the state of Oklahoma's quality of life than you and Jared and Kelton and Kennedy. It's really fun to see the cool things that you all do regularly there on the farm, and then also in your day job as Secretary of Ag. I also want to give a quick shout out to your staff. They've been great to work with. I know I'm going to miss someone, but Jan Lee and Whitney and Emily and Michaela and Morgan and others, we just certainly appreciate the work that they've put into this as well. And so it's good to know that we've got a good crew back there working.
Well, thank you very much, Riley. I'm very proud of all the individuals that work at the Department of Ag here in Oklahoma City and across all of our field spaces as well. I have gotten one quick question, Riley, if I've got a minute to address
Absolutely.
it, from Dr. Robinson at Oklahoma State. I know they have the Rural Renewal Initiative at Oklahoma State, which is one of the top 4-tier priorities that the VPR's office is focused on, and regarding if that can assist in improving quality of life for rural Oklahomans. I think there is no question that that's the case, Dr. Robinson, and I very much appreciate the work that Dr. Robinson and Dr. Auctioner have done on that particular area. I know that especially Dr. Robinson being from Hollis, which is a big metropolis down in southwestern Oklahoma, he certainly understands some of the unique pieces of the quality of life in rural parts of Oklahoma. And there's so many of those that we love. We love the Friday night lights. We love everyone knowing our kids' name at school and who their siblings are, and that if they get in trouble, we know before they even get home for the day. But along with that kind of the shrinking population, there are certainly some things I think that we can all do to see some expansion, because I believe, certainly Dr. Robinson and everyone else on the line, I think that people want to be in rural America. They want to be in rural Oklahoma, as long as we can put these pieces together for them that address education and health outcomes and housing and infrastructure. And I think with all of us working collaboratively, we can do that, and we can see some renewed enthusiasm in all the parts of rural Oklahoma over the next few years.
Thanks again, Secretary Arthur and team. We appreciate you all. Would love to turn any questions to the Secretary's team. If you have them offline, we'll certainly get them to the right people.